Hey, and welcome back to Fables from the Den, a living book by Might and Delight. Last episode, we had a look at the tales of the bird, the frog, the snail, fish, and the cat. Today we're going to be looking at the last four, which is the deer type thing, the fox, the bunny, and the bear who got slapped. Which I guess is where we'll start, because he looks a bit curious. You're the one about the wolf and the rabbit? No, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna tell me. There once lived a rabbit behind a waterfall, tiny in stature, but big of heart. Many had tried, but all had failed to unseat him from behind his watery veil. No one really knew why until a big bad wolf sought to try her luck. She marched towards the waterfall, brash and loud with thoughts of victory, but came scurrying back, scared and broken, with tales of a large and fearsome beast. Her friends heckled and laughed at her misfortune. Poor wolf. Poor eyeless badger, squirrel, and mouse. Unknown to her, the rabbit had mastered a trick, less a trick but more a realization. Using cunning and trickery, he was able to make himself bigger and louder. He had embraced his inner strength to become the beast the others had feared. Other animals had feared. My bad, slipping up on my words. Such a real cute rabbit. Everything is wholesome and cute in this, collection of stories, which is why I'm saying it so much. Oh, I've missed back and forth. I'm an idiot. Ever notice how some are never satisfied with what they have? Well, it reminds me of an old fogey I used to know. No singing song. There once lived a badger, a more conceited and vain creature you will never see. He loved his looks, but loved having what others didn't much more. Cheeky badger. On one of his little saunters in the woods, he came across the biggest and juiciest radish he had ever seen. I bet no one has ever had one as big as this before, he thought, before picking it up and proudly marching towards the river with it. As he walked by the brookside, he caught sight of his reflection, and another badger with what looked like a bigger and juicier radish in his mouth. Outraged, he lunged at his reflection, dropping the radish into the watery depths. It's okay. I don't know how, radishes work, but I'm sure that radish will go down the stream and make it onto a riverbank somewhere and make more radishes. And that's wholesome, at least. So, soaking wet, and as the cost of his actions began to sink in, he began to make his way home, with nothing to show from his walk other than a loss of pride and an acknowledgement of greed. And soggy feet. Gonna say something? Okay. My bad. For those of you always looking for a place to lay your head, here's a short story about a snail. A young snail, squiggly and soft, longed for a home of her own. Everyone around her had places they turned to for shelter, so why didn't she have one? I deserve one, even if I have to try and build one myself, she proclaimed. She looks like the cousin of the snake that I talked about in the last episode. And try she did, day and night and with no sleep until she could no more. See, she lacked hands, and her tentacles weren't made for hard labor. Distraught and exhausted, she curled up and fell asleep with dreams of her home and on her mind. She woke up with a jolt a short time later, with a weight on her now robust shoulders, to discover the home she had longed for was with her, or more accurately, was on her all along. Snails can always find a home in their shell, unless some asshat tries to break it. So it's a really happy squirrel. Home really is where the heart is. Good story. Home, sweet home. And now it's time for the final story, with Mr. Cheeky Deer. Here's one to grumble over. Ever wonder why the lynx has no tail? It's actually pretty amusing, depending on what side of the tail you're on. Hey, hey, hey! That's a pretty good pun, buddy. A long time ago, in a small idyllic corner of the woods, lived a reclusive fish. You know, one of those that loves to be left alone. On the other end of the scale lived the lynx. Now, if there was one animal that appreciates quality alone time, it would be the lynx. Oh no, not this one. This four-legged pest took it upon itself to bother the fish at every opportunity, by throwing pebbles into the pond, simply because he could, and hoped to get a reaction. Well, one day, he did. Also, you'll notice again, no pupils on the lynx, because I guess it's kind of mean. After another day trying and failing to get a rise from the fish, the lynx fell asleep by the pond with his tail in the water. Rookie mistake. The fish, seeing his chance, lunged forward and bit off the hairy hellraiser's tufty long tail. So that is why the lynx is only a stump where the tail used to be, and that fish is smug as hell. That's a tale we can all get behind. Hail to the fish. How horrid. Yeah, I'm not surprised the cat said that. Well, that's all the stories that I've been able to find in this game. If there's others, they are very well hidden. Well, for my general summary with the game, it's like none of the stories are like anything you're not going to expect. They're all like kind of like nursery stories about like being good and making the right decisions and helping people. But I think like the kind of unique art style and the way the game is portrayed is really good, and I'd recommend it to any of you who want to like read through the stories or appreciate the art yourself. You can get it on Steam. I think it's like €4 or so. Don't quote me on that though. I'll put the link to it in the description, but I just don't want to have a look at it right now. Otherwise, I really hope you enjoyed watching. I'm going to be coming out with new stuff. I'm not sure what that new stuff is yet. Real soon. And I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.